Hello students, coming back to the lesson. Now I told you all the king did not get any reply, any satisfactory reply. So he decided to ask. He was very eager to know his answers. So in the part 3, we will start with where the king went. He decided instead to go to a hermit. Now a hermit means a sage. Sage means like a sadhu type. And this hermit did not live in the city or did not live near any temple. He was a wise, holy person who was widely known for his wisdom. Wisdom means for his wise sayings. He was renowned. Renowned means well known. The hermit lived in a small hut in a forest, which he never left. Now, this hermit lived in a forest, in a small hut, and he never left this. He never came to the city, or he never went to any kings or anything. So, he spoke only to common folk. He only spoke to common folk. Now, students, in last year's lesson, last year's poem, last poem, Tansen, you all might have read, no? How Tansen's teacher did not meet King Akbar, Emperor Akbar. But Akbar had to go walking. Akbar went as a common person to meet Tansen's teacher. Yes, so here also the hermit did not speak to kings or rich people or anything. He only spoke to common folk. Now, common folk means common people. So, the king put on simple clothes. Now, the king, what did he do? He put on simple clothes and approaching the hermit's cell. Approaching means as he went close, near the hermit's cell. Cell means hut. Dismounted his horse and left his bodyguards behind. So, he did not take his bodyguards or he did not go on the horse to the hermit's hut. If he would go on his horse or with his bodyguard, do you think the hermit would speak to the king? Not at all. So that is why the king, what did he do? He got down from his horse. Now what means dismounted? He got down from his horse and left his bodyguard also behind. Yes, in the jungle there, in the forest. And he went alone to the hermit's hut. When the king arrived, now when the king went there to the hermit, did the hermit entirely went close to the king, welcomed him, gave him a glass of water or anything? No, no such thing that the king did. The hermit was digging. Now what was the hermit doing? He was digging the ground in front of his hut. Now why he was digging the ground? Here we come to know later on that he wanted to plant some seeds. And that is why he was digging the ground. He greeted the king. Now I told you, the hermit was a very wise person. He did not just ignore the king, but he greeted. Greeted yani he said, oh, good morning or welcome. That is called greeting. But went on digging. He kept on digging the ground. He did not stop. The hermit was frail and weak. Now frail means very thin, very delicate looking, very thin, kamzor ekdam, and weak. Yes, one and the same. And each time he struck the ground with the spade. Each time he took the spade, yes, to dig the ground, he breathed heavily and turned a little earth. He breathed heavily. Turned a little earth means he just dug the ground, made the earth. Earth means mud, up and down. He breathed heavily. That shows he was really very weak. The king went up to him and said, I have come to you, wise hermit, to ask you to answer 3 questions. Now the king went to the hermit and directly he said, I have come to you to ask you to answer my 3 questions. How can I learn to do the right thing? Now the first question was, how can I learn to do the right thing at the right time? Who are the people I most need, and to whom should I therefore pay more attention? And what affairs means what works, are the most important and need my first attention? So what were the three questions? The three questions: how can I learn to do the right thing at the right time? Who are the most people, the people I need the most? And which things are to be done as the most important thing and needs first attention? The hermit listened to the king but said nothing. Now, did the hermit at once stop his work and started giving the answer to the king? No. The hermit continued digging. Yes, he did not look also, he just ignored, like he just kept on digging. Yes, he listened to the questions, but he did not give an answer. He just spat on his hand and resumed digging. Now, spat on the hand and started digging. Okay, because to get the grip, why people spit on the hand? To catch something tight, to get the grip. Yes, and resumed digging. Resumed means continued digging. The king watched in silence for a while. Now the king just looked at the hermit very quietly in silence and waited for some time. Then, feeling sorry for the hermit, now king felt very sorry. उसको बहुत बुरा लगा. The hermit so thin and digging. The king felt very sorry for the hermit. He said, "You are tired. Let me take the spade and work a while for you." Now the king told the hermit, "Let me take the spade, yes, and I will dig the ground for you." The hermit silently handed over the spade and sat down on the. When he had dug 2 beds, now dug 2 beds means he dug some portion of that particular garden which the hermit was digging. Who had dug? The king. The king stopped and repeated his questions. The king stopped and again asked the questions to the hermit. The hermit gave no answer. The hermit did not answer, but he rose. Rose means he got up. Yes, he got up, stretched out his hand for the spade. He stretched out his hand. He told, "Come on, give me the spade." Yes, and said, "Now rest a while and let me work a bit." What did the hermit tell the king? "You rest. Now you take the rest. I will work for some time." But the king did not give him the spade and continued to dig. But did the king tell, okay, you take the spade and you dig? No. The king did not take the spade and he continued to dig. Now 1 hour passed and another. 1 hour and another hour. Yes, 2 hours passed. The sun began to sink behind the trees. Sun began to sink means the sun began to set behind the trees, and the king at last stuck the spade into the ground and said. Now the king lost his patience. He did not get angry or anything. He just took the spade, put it in the ground, and he said, "I came to you, wise one." What did he call the hermit? A wise one. "For an answer to my questions. If you can give me none, but if you cannot give me any answer, please say so. Please tell me. If you cannot give me an answer, please tell me. And I will go home." And what will I do? I will just go home. I will walk away. I will go home. Here comes someone running. And suddenly, what happened? As they are talking, the king and the hermit, suddenly someone is come running. Yes, कोई दौड़ के आ रहा है एकदम speed. Said the hermit, "Let us see who it is." Now let us see who it is. Now they did not know that man, nor the king, nor the hermit. So they decided to wait and see who he was. Why? Because he came running through the trees. So could they see him? No, they could not see him. And that is why the hermit told, let us see who it is. Okay. So now students, in the next lecture, we will continue this lesson. Okay. Till then, we will say bye to each other. Okay, bye.